I'm small, but I can destroy everyone. What a great joke you made. While laughing at me won't do you any good.
The courtroom buzzed with low whispers, the kind that ripple through a room right before something unforgettable happens. Cameras clicked, spectators leaned forward, and even the bailiff seemed unusually alert. Everyone had heard the rumors. Senator Hartwell's only daughter had arrived with the attitude of someone who believed rules were decorations rather than boundaries. But no one expected her to walk in like she owned the place. Ashley Hartwell entered with sunglasses still on her face, a designer coat draped over her arm, and a smirk sharp enough to cut glass. She didn't look at the judge's bench, didn't acknowledge the courtroom, didn't show even a hint of the respect people usually carried in this room. Instead, she scanned the crowd, as if searching for a camera angled perfectly enough to capture her best side. Judge Judy watched her with narrowed eyes. Years of dealing with arrogance had trained her to recognize trouble the moment it walked in, and this young woman practically radiated it. Judy's fingers tapped lightly on the bench, just once, a quiet warning before the storm. Ashley's attorney, David Kim, walked slightly behind her, holding a folder stuffed with documents. Unlike his client, he understood where they were standing. He whispered, "Ashley, remove the glasses." "This is a courtroom, not a—" "It's fine," she muttered, waving him off. "They know who I am." Every word stabbed the air. The judge raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me?" Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried through the room with perfect authority. Ashley blinked, then realized the judge was addressing her. She pushed her sunglasses up, annoyed. "What? I didn't say anything to you." A collective inhale rippled across the room. David's face drained of color. "Ashley," Judge Judy leaned forward slightly. "You're in my courtroom. Every word you say in here matters." Ashley rolled her eyes, actually rolled them. "Right, can we just get this over with? I have things to do." The bailiff stiffened. Judge Judy let the silence hang, letting the girl's arrogance expose itself. "Very well," she finally said. "Let's proceed." Ashley crossed her legs, then uncrossed them, shifting impatiently as if the seat offended her. David tried to maintain professionalism while opening the folder, but Ashley snatched a page from his hand. "Give me that. You take too long." David flinched. Judge Judy saw everything. "What exactly do you think is happening here?" Judy asked, her tone calm but edged with steel. Ashley shrugged. "A misunderstanding. I bumped someone's car, they overreacted, and now we're wasting time." "Wasting whose time?" the judge asked. "Mine," she answered without hesitation. A soft, stunned murmur ran through the audience like a spark. Judge Judy's expression sharpened. "You think this is about your time?" Ashley leaned back. "Well, yeah. I shouldn't even be here." David buried his face in the folder for a moment, as if wishing he could disappear. Judge Judy took a deep breath, and the room felt it. "Let's hear the plaintiff." A middle-aged woman stepped forward, clutching the small purse to her chest. Her voice trembled slightly as she explained how Ashley had not only hit her parked car, but also yelled at her when she asked for insurance information. According to the woman, Ashley drove off after shouting that she didn't talk to ordinary people. Ashley scoffed loudly. "Oh, come on. She's exaggerating. People like her always do." Judge Judy's head snapped toward her. "People like what, exactly?" Ashley hesitated for the first time, searching for words she thought might soften the judgment she saw in the judge's eyes. "I just mean, she's dramatic." "She's dramatic," Judy repeated slowly, "and you are." "What? Calm? Respectful?" Ashley smiled arrogantly. "I mean, yeah. Compared to this?" She gestured toward the plaintiff dismissively. The plaintiff's eyes glistened with hurt, something in Judge Judy's tone shifted, quiet but unmistakable. "A storm gathering. Miss Hartwell," she said, "do you understand why you're here?" "To defend myself against lies." Ashley replied. "No," Judge Judy said. "You are here because actions have consequences, even for people who think they are above them." Ashley laughed under her breath. That was the breaking point. "Judge Judy slapped her hand on the bench, a thunderclap that silenced the room instantly. Ashley jumped, startled. "Young lady," Judy said, pointing a finger directly at her, "if you roll your eyes at me one more time, if you disrespect anyone in this courtroom again, you will find out very quickly that your last name holds no power here." Ashley froze, her face draining of color. David whispered urgently, "Ashley, stop please." But the girl's pride was a monster she didn't know how to control. "I'm just being honest," she muttered. "Honesty," Judge Judy snapped, "is telling the truth. What you're doing is showing off your entitlement like a badge of honor." The courtroom sat utterly still. Judy leaned forward again, voice low but heavy with authority. "Look at the woman you dismissed. Look at her." Ashley turned reluctantly. "Does she look dramatic to you?" Judy asked. Ashley swallowed but said nothing. "Answer the question," Judy ordered. "No," she whispered. "And does she deserve respect?" Ashley hesitated just long enough to reveal the truth she didn't want to admit. Judge Judy saw it instantly. "That pause," Judy said. "That hesitation? That tells me everything I need to know about you." Ashley shifted uncomfortably, suddenly aware of the eyes watching her, not with admiration, but with judgment. Judge Judy continued. "You think your father's position protects you from accountability? But in this room, I don't care if you're the daughter of a senator or a supermarket clerk. You are responsible for your choices." For the first time, Ashley's confidence cracked. Her throat tightened, and she looked down at her hands. Judge Judy softened her tone, but only slightly. "You still have a chance to behave like a decent human being. Whether you take it or throw it away, that's on you." Ashley didn't respond. But the silence spoke loud enough, and the courtroom felt the shift, the beginning of a fall for someone who had never been told no. The tension in the courtroom didn't fade after Judge Judy's warning. It changed shape. It settled into the air like something waiting to explode. Ashley sat rigidly, her jaw clenched, but her eyes were no longer carrying the same careless spark. There was discomfort there now, a flicker of something she didn't quite understand, being challenged. David Kim glanced at her discreetly, silently pleading for cooperation. He knew this case was winnable if Ashley didn't destroy herself with her attitude. But convincing her to listen was like convincing fire not to burn. Judge Judy turned her attention back to the plaintiff. "Ma'am, please continue." The woman nodded, her voice gentle but steady with each word. "When I asked her for her insurance, she laughed at me. She told me she had better things to do, and that people like me should stay out of her way." Ashley shifted again, her face turning defensive. "I never said—" "Don't interrupt," Judge Judy snapped sharply without even looking at her. Ashley inhaled, held it, then let it out slowly, struggling to maintain whatever fragile control she had left. The woman continued. "I tried to take a picture of her license plate. She grabbed my phone and pushed it away. I fell back a little and Ashley couldn't hold back anymore. It wasn't a push. I barely touched her." Judge Judy looked at Ashley so sharply that the room seemed to tilt. Barely touching someone can still knock them off balance if they're not prepared. And putting your hands on someone at all is unacceptable. "But no," the judge said firmly. "Stop talking." Ashley bit her lip, but anger brewed behind her eyes like boiling water. The plaintiff swallowed and finished softly. I just wanted her to take responsibility." Judge Judy nodded. "Thank you. You may step back." As the plaintiff returned to her seat, Ashley's gaze followed her. There was something new there, not sympathy, not quite remorse, but confusion. Like she didn't understand how her actions could have hurt someone because she had lived so long in a world where consequences were optional. David cleared his throat. "Your Honor, if I may clarify." "No need," Judy said. "I heard everything I needed to hear." David closed his mouth. His client was burying the case faster than he could rescue it. Judge Judy looked directly at Ashley. "Tell me your version." Ashley straightened, forcing her voice into what she probably thought was a collected tone. "I was leaving a boutique. She parked too close to my car. When I backed out, I tapped her bumper, that's all. Her car wasn't even damaged the way she's making it sound." "And your behavior afterward?" The judge asked. Ashley hesitated. She was yelling. I don't respond well to yelling. Asterisk. She wasn't yelling, the judge countered calmly. She was scared. You made her scared. Ashley shook her head. She's being dramatic. People always exaggerate when they see someone like me. Someone like you? Judge Judy repeated. And what exactly are you? Ashley opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her confidence faltered again, and her eyes hardened defensively. I'm just saying, people judge me before I even speak. And what do you think you just did to her? The judge asked. Ashley didn't answer. The silence was an answer itself. Asterisk. Judge Judy tapped her pen lightly, signaling she was ready to move forward. All right. I want to understand one thing clearly. Why did you refuse to give her your insurance information? Ashley spoke quietly. I was running late. I didn't think it was necessary. Not necessary, Judy repeated. Because her car was old. The scratches didn't look like a big deal. There it was, the entitlement uncloaked. Judge Judy's eyebrows rose. So damages only matter when they happen to expensive things? That's not what I meant. It's exactly what you meant, the judge said. Ashley swallowed, her throat visibly tightening. Judge Judy leaned forward. Let me tell you something, Miss Hartwell. If someone's property is damaged, it is their right to determine how much it matters, not yours. Ashley looked away, her jaw flexing. Young lady, Judy continued. You keep behaving as if the world should bend around you, but life does not care about your designer clothing or your father's job. You are expected to behave with the same basic decency as everyone else. The words hit something sensitive. Ashley's breath stuttered for the smallest moment. Barely noticeable to most, but Judge Judy noticed everything. Before the judge could continue, the courtroom door opened quietly, and a tall man in a gray suit slipped in, standing at the back. His presence sent a hush across the spectators. Ashley noticed him, and froze. It was her father. Senator Richard Hartwell, her face drained of color. David Kim noticed too and stiffened. Judge Judy glanced at the back of the room, her expression unreadable. The senator stood silently, arms crossed, eyes fixed on his daughter, not with anger. Not with disappointment, but with something worse, realization. Ashley tried to straighten her posture, tried to hide the quiver in her hands, but the pressure of his presence crushed her arrogance in a way the judge's words hadn't. Judy returned her gaze to the girl. I take it you know the man who just walked in? Ashley nodded numbly, her voice small for the first time. He's my father. Good, Judy said. Maybe someone he loves finally seeing how she behaves will help her understand accountability. Ashley flinched visibly. Judge Judy didn't lower her tone, but she shifted it, quieter, sharper. Your father walked into this room expecting to support you, but he is also here to see the truth. And the truth is that your behavior doesn't come from privilege. It comes from fear. Ashley's head snapped up. Fear of what? Fear of not being special, Judy replied. Fear that without your last name, you are just another young woman who has to earn respect instead of demanding it. Ashley's lips trembled. She pressed them together quickly, trying to erase the weakness. Judge Judy continued. You think rudeness makes you strong. It doesn't. Strength comes from humility. And right now, humility is the last thing you want to show. Ashley looked at her father, searching for something protection, maybe? But the senator didn't move. He simply watched her. And for the first time since the hearing began, Ashley's confidence cracked wide open, and the room saw her vulnerability underneath. Judge Judy's next words landed softly but undeniably. You have one last chance to do the right thing. Ashley lowered her gaze. Her hands folded together. And for the first time, she had no idea what to say. Asterisk. The silence in the courtroom grew heavier, almost suffocating. Ashley felt it pressing against her chest, making it difficult to breathe. She could feel her father's gaze burning into her from the back of the room, not angry, not disappointed, just observing, as if he was finally seeing her for the first time without the shield of privilege that had always protected her. Judge Judy waited, watching the girl in front of her unravel piece by piece. Ashley's fingers curled together tightly, knuckles going white. She wasn't used to silence. She was used to noise, attention, approval, admiration. But this quiet? This was judgment without words. Miss Hartwell, Judge Judy said at last. Do you have anything to say? Ashley pressed her lips together. She tried to speak, but the words stuck in her throat. She shook her head slightly, more out of confusion than defiance. David Kim took a cautious step forward. Your Honor, if I may, no. Judge Judy cut him off without looking at him. She needs to answer for herself. Ashley swallowed hard. Her mind raced, but everything felt tangled. An apology? A defense? A lie? Nothing fit. Nothing felt strong enough to patch the cracks spreading inside her. Finally, she whispered, I don't know what you want me to say. Judge Judy's expression didn't soften. I don't want anything from you. I want you to understand yourself. Why do you talk to people the way you do? Why did you treat that woman like she was beneath you? I didn't. Ashley stopped mid-sentence, hearing the lie before it escaped. She looked at the plaintiff. The woman didn't glare at her. She didn't look smug. She just looked tired, hurt. Human. Ashley exhaled shakily. I didn't think it mattered, she whispered. And why didn't it matter? Judy asked. Ashley stared at her hands. Because nothing ever matters. No one ever tells me no. Judge Judy nodded slowly. There it is. Ashley blinked, shocked by her own honesty. You've been protected, Judy said. Your mistakes cleaned up, your tantrums excused, your rudeness brushed off because of your last name. You've been taught that consequences are optional. Ashley's eyes flicked toward her father. His expression didn't shift. He stood like a statue, absorbing every word. Judge Judy tapped her pen. Tell me something, Miss Hartwell. Has your father ever said no to you? Ashley hesitated. A long, heavy silence passed. Not really, she admitted. Has anyone? Ashley shook her head slowly. Judge Judy sighed. That is not love. That is neglect dressed as affection. The words hit Ashley like ice water. That's not true, she said, voice fragile, isn't it? Judy asked. Real love teaches you limits. Real love teaches you accountability. Real love protects you from becoming exactly who you are right now, someone who thinks empathy is optional and kindness is a decoration. Ashley felt a sharp sting behind her eyes. She blinked quickly, trying to push it away. Judy didn't stop. Look around you. Every person in this room has had to learn humility the hard way. What makes you think you deserve to skip that lesson? Ashley said nothing. Judge Judy shifted her gaze toward the back of the room. Senator Hartwell. The senator lifted his chin slightly. Yes, Your Honor. Did you know your daughter behaved this way in public? His answer came after a long pause. No, Judy nodded. I believe you, but that doesn't absolve you of responsibility. Ashley turned sharply toward him, confusion and hurt flickering across her face. Judge Judy continued. Children learn from what they are allowed to become. You gave her privilege without guidance, freedom without boundaries. And now you stand here seeing what that created. The senator's jaw tightened, a brief flicker of guilt crossing his face. Ashley felt her throat close. Dad, I'm not that bad. He finally spoke, voice calm but shockingly honest. Ashley, I don't know who you are right now. It was the first real wound she felt all day. Her breath quivered. You're supposed to be on my side, she whispered. I am, he said. But being on your side doesn't mean defending your behavior. It means wanting you to be better than this. Ashley looked away, blinking rapidly, her chest tightening. Judge Judy observed quietly, then addressed the senator again. If you've never disciplined her, never held her accountable, then this courtroom is likely the first boundary she has ever encountered. Ashley's chin trembled. I'm not a bad person, she muttered, more to herself than anyone else. No one said you were, Judy replied. But you are becoming someone unkind. And unkindness, when fed long enough, turns into cruelty. Ashley flinched hard. Judge Judy leaned slightly forward. You don't have to say this version of yourself. Ashley finally met her eyes. Then what do I do? Judy spoke firmly. Start with responsibility. Admit what you did. Apologize. Not because you're scared. Not because your father is watching, but because it is the right thing to do. Ashley stared at the plaintiff again. The woman looked down at her purse, uncomfortable with the attention. Ashley's voice cracked. I didn't mean to scare you. I didn't think. The plaintiff looked up, surprised. Ashley swallowed. I'm sorry. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't eloquent. But it was real. Judge Judy nodded once. A beginning. But the moment didn't end there, because as Ashley lowered her gaze, trying to make sense of the strange ache building inside her, the senator stepped forward for the first time. Your Honor, he said quietly, with your permission, I'd like to speak. The courtroom fell into a stunned hush. Ashley's head jerked up. The judge gestured for him to continue. He walked past the spectators with slow, steady steps until he reached the front row. He looked at his daughter, really looked at her, and the room felt the gravity of the moment. Ashley, he said softly, we need to talk about a lot more than this accident. Ashley's breath hitched. Judge Judy watched, knowing the next few minutes would determine everything. Asterisk. The senator's words lingered in the air like a bruise waiting to deepen. Ashley sat frozen, her spine stiff, her heartbeat too loud in her ears. She wasn't used to this tone from her father, quiet, deliberate, honest. Not the diplomatic voice he used for cameras. Not the soft, indulgent tone he used with her. This was something different. Something she had never heard before. Dad. She whispered, unsure whether she wanted him to come closer or stay exactly where he was. Senator Hartwell didn't move. He kept his hands clasped in front of him, his eyes locked on hers with a mixture of sadness and clarity. I've spent years working on laws, policies, programs, trying to make life better for people, but I failed at the one responsibility closest to me. Ashley frowned, her defenses rising again. You didn't fail. I'm fine. You're not fine, he said quietly. And I haven't been paying attention. A painful shift rippled through the room. The spectators who had come for drama found themselves witnessing something raw, something that didn't belong on a screen or in a magazine headline. A father confronting his own absence. A daughter facing her own reflection, one she didn't like. Ashley's voice cracked. I didn't ask you to pay attention. That's the problem, he said. You shouldn't have had to ask. Judge Judy watched intently, her face unreadable. She had seen families implode, reconcile, fracture, and mend. This was different. This was the moment where the truth finally stripped away all the polished surfaces. The senator continued, Ashley, your behavior today isn't shocking to me. It's familiar. Her eyes widened. You've seen me act like this? No, he said. I've seen myself. The admission stunned the room. Ashley blinked, confused. What do you mean? The senator took a slow breath. I spent so many years in politics being told I was important. Believed it. Lived it. And I started treating people like obstacles or background noise. The world revolved around my schedule, my needs, my image. And you grew up watching that. Ashley's lips parted as realization crept in. You learned entitlement, he said softly, because you watched me live it. Ashley's breath trembled. She looked away quickly, then back again, trying to absorb the weight of his confession. Dad, I didn't know. I didn't know either, he admitted. Not until today. Judge Judy folded her hands. Senator, this may be the first genuine moment of accountability either of you has had. Ashley wiped a tear that slid down without her permission. Her voice shook. So, what now? What am I supposed to do? Grow, the judge said simply. Own your actions. Fix what you can. Become someone you respect. Ashley nodded slowly, her composure unraveling thread by thread. She wasn't crying loudly, no sobs, no dramatic gasps. Just silent tears, the kind that didn't ask for attention but revealed everything. The plaintiff shifted uncomfortably from her seat, as if unsure whether she should look away or stay. Seeing Ashley crumble made her pity the girl more than hate her. Judge Judy turned back to the senator. Your daughter has begun taking responsibility. But responsibility without change is meaningless. Will you support her through that change? The senator hesitated. Yes, I want to. Then show her, Judy said. Not with money. Not with influence. But with presence. Ashley let out an unsteady breath. I didn't want you to see me like this. I needed to see it, he said. And you needed me to. She wiped her eyes again. I don't want to be this version of myself. Then you won't be, he replied gently. I'll help you. But you have to meet me halfway. Ashley nodded, a small, fragile motion. Judge Judy allowed the moment to sit a little longer before shifting the conversation back to the case. Miss Hartwell, we still have an unresolved matter. The damages, the behavior afterward, and the treatment of the plaintiff. Ashley straightened slightly, not with arrogance this time, but with intent. I want to fix it, she said. How? Judy challenged. Ashley turned toward the plaintiff. I'll pay for every repair. And I'll apologize properly. Not like before. The plaintiff blinked, surprised. You don't have to, no, Ashley said quietly. I do. Judge Judy nodded once. And your behavior toward her? Ashley's voice thickened. It was wrong. I treated you badly because I thought being rude made me strong. She swallowed. It just made me cruel. The plaintiff softened. Thank you. Ashley looked down again, but her shoulders relaxed, a tiny sign of humility finally breaking through. Judge Judy leaned back, satisfied with the shift. There is one more thing. Ashley looked up nervously. You will write a formal apology. Not a sentence. A letter. And you will read it out loud in this courtroom next week? Ashley nodded immediately. Okay, good, Judy said. And you will attend a community responsibility program. You need perspective and they will give it to you. Ashley's agreement came without hesitation this time. Yes, Your Honor. David Kim exhaled in relief, as if he had been holding his breath for an hour, but Judge Judy wasn't finished. She turned to the senator. And you, Senator Hartwell, will ensure she follows through. Not as a politician. As a father? The senator bowed his head slightly. I will. Something loosened in Ashley's chest. Something she didn't even realize she'd been holding on to. Fear, maybe. Pride. Or the belief that she had to stand alone in the world. Judge Judy began summarizing the decision, speaking clearly, firmly, but Ashley wasn't listening to the details anymore. Her eyes drifted to her father, who offered a small nod, reassuring, real, and more comforting than any excuse money or privilege could buy. For the first time, she didn't feel untouchable. She felt human. And strangely, she felt lighter. The courtroom breathed with her, waiting for what came next. But something none of them expected was about to happen. Just as Judge Judy prepared to close the session, the plaintiff shifted, raising her hand hesitantly. Your Honor, she said softly. There's something else I need to say. All eyes turned. Ashley looked up, confused and uneasy. And the room braced for a new revelation. Asterisk. The courtroom was so quiet you could hear the faint hum of the overhead lights. Ashley, who once walked in with a smirk, now sat frozen, her confidence shattered, her eyes swollen from crying. Senator Hartwell kept fidgeting with his wedding ring, a nervous habit he couldn't hide anymore. David Kim watched silently, waiting for the final hammer to fall. Judge Judy leaned forward, hands clasped, her stare sharp enough to slice through steel. This case, she began, is not about a missing watch. It never was. It's about accountability. Something everyone in this room seems to have forgotten, especially you. Miss Hartwell. Ashley's head lowered. Judge Judy continued, her voice rising only slightly, but enough to echo through every corner of the courtroom. You're old enough to know right from wrong. Old enough to understand the meaning of consequences. And certainly old enough to know that lying, especially under oath, isn't a game. Ashley swallowed hard, her voice trembling. I know, Your Honor. But Judge Judy didn't let her finish. No, you didn't know. Or worse, you didn't care. Not until you got caught. The words hit the girl like a weight she wasn't strong enough to carry. Senator Hartwell finally stood. Your Honor, if I may. Judge Judy raised a finger. Sit. He sat immediately. Even a powerful senator knew better than to challenge her. She turned her attention back to Ashley. You tried to ruin a young man's life because you thought you were immune. You thought your father's title made you untouchable. Let me be perfectly clear, this courtroom doesn't care who your father is. Ashley wiped her tears, whispering, "I'm sorry." Judge Judy didn't soften. "You're not sorry for what you did. You're sorry that you lost." David Kim let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. His jaw trembled, slightly relief, yes, but also pain from weeks of being blamed for something he didn't do. Judge Judy took a long moment before delivering the final decision, based on the evidence, the testimony, and the truth. Finally told, "I rule completely in favor of the defendant." David Kim. David's shoulders dropped in relief. Furthermore, she added, "Ashley Hartwell is ordered to pay damages for false accusation, emotional distress, and legal fees. And I suggest she uses this as the wake-up call she desperately needs." Gasps fluttered across the room. Ashley wasn't expecting mercy, but she wasn't ready for humiliation either. She looked toward her father, silently crying for help. But Senator Hartwell remained still, guilt and shame heavy on his face. Judge Judy wasn't finished yet. "Senator Hartwell," she said, turning to him with a stern glare, "your daughter didn't become entitled on her own. That kind of arrogance grows in the shadow of influence. Maybe it's time you teach your family the value of humility." The senator nodded slowly. Unable to contradict her dog, David finally spoke, voice quiet but steady. "Thank you. Your Honor, this means more than you know." Judge Judy gave him a brief nod, one of respect, as the bailiff called the next case. Ashley stood shakily, wiping tears with trembling hands. She didn't storm out like before. She didn't argue. She didn't lift her chin with pride. She just followed her father, head bowed, shoulders heavy. Senator Hartwell placed a hand on her back, whispering something that sounded like regret, not anger. Before leaving, Ashley glanced back at David, not with hatred, but with the painful understanding that she had almost destroyed an innocent life, and for the first time in the entire trial. There was no smirk on her face. Judge Judy watched her go, then murmured under her breath, "Actions have consequences, especially when you think they don't." The gavel struck once more. Asterisk case closed.